Hello everyone and welcome to my Busan travel vlog. We started off by taking the KTX down and it was a short 2.5 hour ride, so after some snacks and a nap, we had made it to the station. This was my first time visiting and it was so nice to finally be in Busan after a few hiccups that had made me unable to visit sooner. After taking some photos in front, the first order of business was to drop off our stuff at the hotel, so we headed over to our accommodation by bus. We did arrive a little before check-in time, so we decided to sit by the terrace and enjoy the view of Gwanghwaneuli Beach. Hello friends, we have just arrived in Busan. We are just waiting for our room to be ready so we can check in. But yes, it's my first time here in Busan, and after we put our stuff down, we're gonna go eat a late lunch. So yes, I'm very excited to be here. The weather is just perfect, and yeah, I have quite a few things planned, so I'm excited to go see the city and eat a lot of good food. Here's a little quick room tour of the room we stayed during our trip. We stayed at the H Avenue Hotel in Gwanghwaneuli and really enjoyed our stay. The room was priced really well and everything was neat and well furnished. This particular room only had a partial view, but my mom and I didn't mind much because we were going to be out for most of the time. And as long as the room is in good condition, we're pretty easy to please. Plus, the bathroom, which is arguably one of the most important things, was clean and spacious, so we were happy with the room. After quickly settling in, we were ready to go eat our first meal. My mom and I then went out for lunch, but first, let's enjoy this ASMR. I found this place near our hotel that was really famous, and luckily we didn't have to wait at all since we went around 3 p.m. The restaurant recommends a specific way of eating the food. Take a piece of dried seaweed, then some pork belly, followed by some pickled radish or greens, shrimp, and finish with bean sprouts. This is what it looks like, and then you just roll it up and enjoy. I really liked how even one bite was packed with a lot of different textures and flavors from all of the different elements to the wrap. We also ordered some grilled clams, but since I don't eat those, I mainly focused on the pork belly and shrimp, while my mom enjoyed the clams. I think for popular restaurants like this, going at an off time like we did is the best because we basically had the entire place to ourselves and there was zero wait. The food was good and reasonably priced, so I'd recommend trying it out if you end up in the Gwanghwaneuli area. After our late lunch, my mom and I headed out to walk along the beach and digest. We stumbled across this cute little shop that was decorated with a retro vibe, and I stopped in to take a look. I couldn't pass up on grabbing a coffee, and after a quick stroll and rest back in our room, we headed out to visit haeundae Beach. I had wanted to see the Sand Festival, and luckily the dates coincided with our trip. There were a bunch of sculptures that were all so intricate and beautiful. It's crazy to think that they were all made of sand. Artists from all over the world contributed to the festival sculptures, so it was fun to walk along the beach and enjoy the art. now the sun is setting. Ah, it's so pretty right now. Oh my gosh! Look at the sky. Oh my gosh, I think the camera does not do it justice. It is so pretty right now. Just look at this sky. We witnessed the most beautiful sunset while we were walking, and honestly, I feel like this is the best cotton candy sky I've ever seen. It felt so nice to sit by the sand and hear the waves and just sit and basically do nothing. It had been something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, so it was nice to just sit and relax and not have to worry about anything. After sitting for a bit, we decided to head over to the haeundae street market. It was only like a 2-minute walk from the beach, and it was filled with a bunch of street food and little stalls. My mom and I stopped by at this little fruit stand and got some snacks to eat back at the hotel. We passed by this really famous tteokbokki spot that is one of the top 5 of Busan, I would say. We did take some to go to eat back in the room, but honestly, personally speaking, it was not good at all for me. It was way too spicy, and I don't know if it was just an off day, but this was not my favorite tteokbokki that I had in Busan. We just finished walking around. We picked up some food and some fruit, so we're gonna head back to the room to snack on. The next day, we awoke to a beautiful view of the beach, and we really took advantage of the scenery through daily morning strolls. The first stop of the day was to visit Biff Square, which is where the Busan International Film Festival is held every year. I think since my mom and I are not the biggest film buffs, we didn't spend too much time looking around here. It was getting hot too, so we only spent about 10 minutes strolling through and looking through the different nameplates and autographs. It was still fun to look around because of the atmosphere and the fact that there are so many different little markets in Busan. A lot of them were luckily within walking distance. I love markets and walking around, so this was the perfect thing for us to do to kill time. Here I found another very famous tteokbokki spot, and oh my god, it was so good. Tteokbokki was probably the thing I was most excited to eat on this trip, and man, this place did not disappoint at all. It was exactly what I had been looking forward to when thinking of Busan tteokbokki. The rice cakes were super thick and chewy, with the sauce being perfectly balanced. The unique thing about Busan tteokbokki is that they don't rely on water when cooking, but instead the water that is released from the radishes. This makes for a super sweet and mild flavor that isn't overly spicy or sweetened through sugar. It was so good, it made me sad to not be able to eat more. The remainder of the day, I went off to a baking class to learn how to make these really cute cakes. I wasn't allowed to film, but here is the end product. We ended off the night by sitting out at the terrace. I loved sitting outside and enjoying the cool breeze and night view, especially with the sound of waves down below. Our last full day in Busan started off with again the beautiful view of Gwanghwaneoli Beach. We pass by this view every morning while walking to the bus stop or the subway station, and even though it was 20 minutes walk, we didn't mind at all since the view was so beautiful. The first stop of the day was to head over to the infamous Blue Line Park. The Blue Line takes you along multiple stops throughout the way where you can get off the train and explore, so that's exactly what we did. Each stop was different, but this particular one had a really cute stationery store, and I spent a very long time in there deciding what I wanted to get. This stop also had like a mini pier of all the different local fishing boats, so we just took a walk looking around and even headed over to the lighthouse. After taking some pictures, my mom and I sat and just people watched for a few minutes. I'm somebody who likes to mix a packed schedule and just some relaxation while traveling, and I definitely enjoyed the few moments where we just sat and enjoyed each other's presence. Although seeing a lot of different things while traveling is important, I also think it's equally important to take in the view and just to appreciate what you're seeing. We did have a set time for the cable car ride back, so we went on over after some rest at a cafe. The cable car ride is actually really slow, so it was perfect to snap some photos and then enjoy the view. I have to say, it felt really interesting to actually be in the cable car I had only seen through my phone screen. For lunch, I found a grilled clam restaurant nearby since I wanted my mom to take full advantage of all the seafood while we were in Busan. We were seated right by the water, and visually, the food and view, everything was stunning. I wasn't gonna eat any of the clam platter, but I was definitely impressed by the looks of it. Although I didn't eat them, it was really fun to cook and see them open up. Plus, my mom isn't someone who eats a lot normally, so it was nice to see her actually eat more than me. For those of you worrying that I left hungry, fear not, because I ordered a ramen for myself. It was filled with a bunch of seafood, which I gave to my mom of course, and bean sprouts to make the broth extra refreshing. This is exactly what I needed because not only was I hungry, sitting by the window was actually low-key kinda cold, and having a big bowl of hot soup was the best thing. The way I was scarfing down that ramen, it was like a mukbang or something. Each noodle pull was just right, and I thoroughly enjoyed the food. It might be hard to believe, but just a few years ago, I in fact did not like ramen. I definitely think living in Korea for a few years changed me though. Like I mentioned before, Busan is famous for seafood, so we also went to check out the jagalchi market where there are stalls of fresh seafood. We did go when they were closing, which was a mistake on our part, but it was still fun to see all the catches of the day. After spending the day out and about, we headed back to the hotel. This evening, we were actually switching rooms because we ended up extending the trip by a day last minute and had to take whatever other room was available. But guys, look at this room. It was so much nicer than our previous one and not even $40 extra. The view in this room was stellar with the open windows, and my mom and I were so pleasantly surprised at the upgrade. It was honestly so sad that we only had one night in this room because it was absolutely beautiful. We took one last walk by the beach and were greeted by a really pretty light show, and it was the perfect way to wrap up our last day. And that pretty much concludes my first ever Busan trip. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next Korea vlog.